maybe it's because I'm an optimist at heart. Sometimes you could have a bad situation, but there's a silver lining. It's interesting with the coronavirus, which has now been talked to death, and we're all sick of no pun intended, we're sick of talking about it. But what I'm noticing is that top corporations are now telling people to work from home. JP Morgan today announced that they want to have 10% of their workforce. And their workforce is like, I don't know, like 1 million people? No, it's really more like 127,000, something like that. So my math isn't that good, but I imagine that's at least 10,000 people who are going to work from home. The idea, and they're trying to downplay it a little bit because they don't want to create a panic, but their idea is this: hey, listen, if you have 120,000 people and they're all going into different offices, they're all breathing on each other, maybe it could get each other sick, not only with the coronavirus, which now I'm being told is called something else like Corona-19 or something, but I'm going to be old school and still say coronavirus. So instead of getting, possibly passing on the virus and contributing to the outbreak, JP Morgan is subtly saying, hey, let's take 10,000 people, let them work from home, see how it works, if they can connect into the system, the technologies, all that's needed. Hey, and if that works, maybe they could add some more people. Separately, Amazon asked for tomorrow for their global employees, and Amazon is ginormous. So they have, 12 people working at Amazon, something like that. I don't know the numbers, but I'd imagine it's like 300,000, something like crazy, or 500,000. It probably would help if I would do some homework before this podcast, so I would know those numbers. But Amazon, I think it's safe to say, has a lot of employees. So they want them all to simultaneously, I don't know, exact same time, but to log into their VPN to see if it works, if the system holds. And they can work from home in case of emergency. Similarly, Twitter, Coinbase, and other companies, Google, have also either asked all or part or a large part of their employee base to work from home. And the whole thing is very similar. Does it work? Can these people work from home, log into the system, use email, use chat, use videos, and be productive? Now, their theory, at least from what they're saying publicly, is to see, does it work in case of an emergency? So if something goes really bad, we've already tested it and we know business can continue because they can work from home and everything keeps moving forward. And then also it helps not spreading not only coronavirus, but other diseases, other illnesses, and so on. Sounds prudent. What I'm thinking is this. These are all marquee names. These are all brand leaders. Jamie Dimon is seen as the pinnacle of bank CEOs. He's universally lauded for being a solid CEO. And this is an industry where most people hate CEOs and hate banks. And so if he is not, if they look at him as, hey, he's a good guy who knows what he's doing, that's a lot. Jeff Bezos, well, let's be frank, he's a freaking genius gazillionaire. Google's a great company, Twitter, and so on. So if these people are leading the charge saying, hey, work from home, I could see the next step, and I wonder if this is what they're doing. The next step is to start letting more and more people working from home. Now, it already happens with a lot of companies, but it's not institutionalized across the board, and it's not everybody, and it's, hit or miss. Some companies are very open, some are not. Some will say, okay, you could work at home on a Friday, some, maybe a Wednesday, maybe a few hours. There's really not a lot of consistency. This may be monumental. This could be the beginning of a new emerging trend where it becomes acceptable. And not only acceptable, the companies want this for people to work from home. Now, think of it from a company's perspective. If you're JP Morgan, imagine how much it costs to pay rent for these huge skyscrapers in New York. It's insane, the amount of money. It's crazy how much you spend in rent. Trust me, I had a business in New York for so many years. Finally, I said, you know what? I'm going to bring it to New Jersey. Just the costs are exorbitant. So if you could save that much money by having people, even if you don't have everybody, but have a large segment, that's a fortune. Now, for the employees, that could be fantastic. If you have young children, how great is that? that maybe both you and your spouse are working from home? How many people have a sick relative or elderly parents that need help? And how stressful is it when you try to do your job, do your commute back and forth, take care of a kid, take care of parents? It's just too much. So if you don't have to schlep back and forth into Manhattan, like, give you an example. I live in Westfield, New Jersey. It's about 35 minutes outside of Manhattan, and there's always traffic. Never ending, never stops. You can't get anywhere. You're stuck in traffic. You're sucking up fumes. It's miserable. It's either going on one train, then taking another train, taking a bus. It just sucks. You come home, you're tired, you're cranky, you're hangry. You know, you eat, you get on the couch, watch a little TV, go to sleep, and you do the grind again. It's brutal. It's brutal. So if you could be home, not have to do the commute, not have the stress and aggravation and agita with the commute, if you have young kids, if you have family to take care of, it's just amazing. It's like the best perk ever. And for companies, the ones who do it, the ones who are going to be in the forefront, they're going to be the winners because people are going to want to either stay with those companies or they want to go to those companies that offer it. And the ones who don't offer it are going to be left behind. Also, obviously, there's a big green movement to save the environment. Imagine, let's just take New York City as an example. If you have even a small segment of the population who are working, don't have to go to the office, don't have to get in their cars, don't have to take buses. Can you imagine the air quality and how much it'll be improved and how much better it would be for the environment? Plus, for all the other people, it'd be such a relief because you won't have as much traffic, so you could actually enjoy taking a drive or being in Manhattan without just being stuck in crazy traffic, sucking up all the fumes. So I'm wondering if, because let's be frank, these people who become CEOs of JP Morgan, Amazon, Google, Twitter, no matter what anyone says, they're freaking smart. They know what they're doing. They're geniuses. You don't get to run any of these big companies by being a knucklehead. You get to do it by really knowing your stuff. So yes, it makes sense that they figure, hey, let's have a fallback plan, because every company needs that, a just-in-case plan. So let's make sure it works. Everybody could go home. They could go into their system. They could access all the information they need, all the materials they need, all the documents they need. They could connect with everybody. Let's make sure it works. Step one. Fine. They're going to do that. Let's see if there are any glitches, challenges. They have time to fix it. They also want to be socially responsible, that, to help not spread the virus by having more people at home and not interacting. That'll help, and that's a laudable thing, and that's great. But I wonder if these guys have a secondary plan, saying, hey, once we get people socialized to the concept you could work from home and people become comfortable with it, then they can roll it out. I don't think they'll roll it out for everybody tomorrow or next week or next month. But can't you envision if JP Morgan is giving 10,000 people the chance to work from home? At that 10,000, you don't think there's a certain amount to say, hey, this was great. Please, 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 can we do this some more? Can we keep this going? And if Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, realizes, well, you know what? People are just as effective and they want to work from home and they feel happier. And if they're happy, they'll be more productive. And arguably, they'll be more productive if they're not schlepping back and forth into Manhattan and being miserable. That's great. So this could really be a game changer. How crazy is this? You get this wacky virus starting in China that could end up changing the way people here in the United States work. That it uproots generations of, got to wake up in the morning, put on my suit, and back then, put on my hat. They all had these dopey hats. Put on my hat, get my paper, go on the train, go to work, come home, do the same thing, to, hey, wake up like a human being at a normal time, log into the computer, do your work, run out for a jog, enjoy the nice weather. I would argue you'd be more productive. You'll get more done that way, and you'll be happier. So it's a win-win for everybody. Plus, the companies will save a fortune in rent, a fortune. So they'll save money. People work at home, they'll be happy. They won't commute. The environment will be better. They can take care of their kids, their family members. They'll have more time to themselves to enjoy hobbies, so they'll be more productive and happier. And it's a win-win all around. So this is going to be really interesting to watch, to see that the unintended consequence would make life better for people here because of an outbreak in China. That's wild. It's just so crazy how these things happen. So I'll keep you posted how this goes, but find out, keep me posted with what you see in your company. I'd really be interested, because so that's how sometimes you can kind of connect the dots when you hear from different people what's happening at different companies. So I thought this was, in light of all the negativity surrounding this, it'd be nice to have something positive come from it. Something that could make your life better and happier. So this is Jack Kelly with the WeCruitr Podcast. I hope you enjoy it. And if you ever have questions, want to add, give a tip, whatever, I'm all over LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. Hit me up. Thank you so much for listening.